Hey, Virgos. This is Joy with Joy to the World, and I'm here to bring you your reading. As it's been this past week, the cards seem to come out before I turn on the camera. I usually do a few things to get kind of a vibe and a feeling, get in touch with you guys, but it just keeps rolling, and I don't stop. Once the channel's open, I will not stop it because I can interrupt it and lose the transmission of what's going on. So that's just to say you're here, you're talking, we're ready to go. I hope you're listening. I hope you're maybe buckled in or jazzed up on some coffee because there's a lot of busyness going on here. There's a lot of things going on. And just so you know, I sit in a strange position right now because the table I've been working with has two levels, and y'all used both of them. And about every deck of card I have, it's like get some from here, get some from there, get some from here, because you seem to be searching and checking and rechecking and double checking and evaluating and perusing through, which is, some of the Virgo mind. But we definitely, one thing I did notice is we seem to kind of have two groups here in a bit, and they seem to be inverse of one another. And this is not cross watcher or any of that kind of stuff because that really just that doesn't work here. If you're tuned in, you're the one who's receiving here, and it's going to be directly about you. That's the energy that I carry, and that's how these things work. So if you're tuned in here, tune in for yourself, and get ready to find out what is resonating with where your path is right now, with what has already been going on. Listen for synchronicities and confirmations and things like that, because I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to simply provide information and my perspective, because things come in a certain way through me, and they come in so many dimensions of layers. And I look to see what it boils down to really kind of give you a concentrate, although we do like fresh squeezed orange juice. When it comes to this wisdom in the vast, profound nature of it, it is like the fourth state of matter is plasma. Tiny little particles that can only exist in an expansive state. So in a sense, kind of like a baleen whale, I filter out those particles somehow, concentrate them down, and bring them into a size that is concise and clear and direct. So they serve like road signs, like maps, like guides, like the lines on the side of the road. Okay, but you know what path you're on. Tune into yourself, trust yourself, and go from there. Okay. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. I'm checking out the second layer because there are like 35 cards up here is what it feels like. And then I have some hand-drawn channels. I've been dealing with this type of stuff for a long time, and a specific way I always did was through drawing my own channels, and the information would already go ahead and concentrate itself. But out of respect for all those that I'm dealing with, I also go into these other worlds, these other oracles and tarot cards, and ways to confirm and affirm the information that I'm getting, because I'm used to dealing one-on-one with people or dealing with the cycles of the world at large. Okay, so I'll do my best for you, and let's see what we have going on here. So basically, first, I feel like I really want to start. We're going to start over here. So it seems, number one, let's back up for a second. The goal is for you to nourish your gift. Those are the two runes. Two runes came out, and it's very base. It's like nourish yourself, nourish your partnerships, nourish your gifts. Because I see we could call it destructive, self-sabotage, but those words are really pretty harsh. Because in this, what I'm really just seeing is patterns of behavior. And it's because there was a little snag, a bump in the road that was kind of painful a while back, and that's okay. That's where you want to jump in. So one thing that is a predecessor to a lot of what's going on here that we need to kind of clear out a little bit, so that it'll just, clearing that out, we'll go ahead and put these things in order in a sense, and you'll understand just a minute. So what I see here is some emotions and some partnership, whether that's a lover or whether it's business or whether it was a close family member, somewhere where there was a bond and a tie, okay? And that has not been fully let go of yet. And this one, it's still in the heart. There's still heaviness and sorrow, okay? And the sorrow can outweigh the joy. It just like a little ounce of it could outweigh a pound of joy. And so it's kind of tarnishing some of your experience right now. And things are looking that they're going to be moving pretty rapidly here in the next several weeks. It kind of depends on your seasons of where you're at. And I don't mean calendar clock seasons, I mean temperature, some nature indicator seasons here. But it's obvious that some games were played, okay, and you felt played by this, and you just have not let go because you simply cannot understand. And what I can share some wisdom there of what I know is what you don't understand, you yourself will not do to someone else. We can often stay in that state trying to understand. Number one, hoping that we won't do it to another person because it was so horrible to experience firsthand, but also trying to protect ourselves so that it won't happen again. But that's kind of like if you get hungry. I'm not going to use that word. We're not going to talk about the toilet, but it's like going to eat garbage, like the scraps off your plate that you already threw in the trash can. And that's not even in your mind frame to do under any typical situation. So really it's like there is light, there is life, there are things going on out here, and something is already ready for you. It's already paired up, it's already partnered. Things are in view is what I'm trying to say. But you're still hanging on. It's almost, and it's kind of hanging on to you too. It's like it has grown a bit. It has some of its own food source, life source, maybe that's coming about in certain things you say, whether it's out of your mouth or in your mind that you mull around of like, oh, people always treat me this way, or that's never going to work out, or I always get passed by for promotions, whatever. It's a couple of little statements, and they seem kind of innocent and mundane and powerless, but they do still have, that's allowing it to stay connected to you. So clear the two, and there's good reason that, okay. It's just a tiny bit of work. That's it. It's not like this, okay. It's really not work. It's giving yourself permission to move on. Giving yourself to trust that your eyes are wiser now, and that your heart is strong, and really it's more about self-trust and giving yourself permission to see with clear eyes. Because the one caveat here in all this is really don't let any yesterday, any of them, not even the ones that nothing happened, don't let it cloud your vision. Don't let it smudge your eyes. See with clear eyes, and make decisions based on the now. And if you don't know now, then wait, okay? And there'll eventually come a now that you do know. There'll come a now that there is some clarity. There'll come a now that the choice is clear, okay? But so we have to kind of get this out of the way because it's in the underworld, the lower world, which is one of the cards which y'all had me pick. Which, I mean, it came out, but from one of the decks that I had to use, it came out in this kind of a microcosm of a story going on here. Okay, so really it's producing your sense of security, of what makes you feel secure is actually, it's strange, it's false anxiety. It's really strange because it seems like it's anxiety, but it's false anxiety because it's almost like you need just my permission to move on, and hey, I will go ahead and give that to you. You have permission to move on and not have guilt about it, whether it was something that you didn't realize you were doing to somebody else, or whether you're on the other side of the coin that it was done to you. It's really just, you don't have to solve it all and move on. Sometimes closing the door on a thing is enough. Just like a thank you is enough for a kind gesture. it doesn't need to be blown out of proportion or be more elaborate than just saying done, saying mine, and allowing the final closure on that, because it's been around for some time, and it's been in the layers under your life for some time. It's almost like there's one specific incident. For some of you, two groups, right? Some of you, that's something fairly recent, like in the last year or two. Maybe that's how long the relationship was or how long it was going on. But then some of you, it was like back when you were 16, okay? And it was just an undercurrent that laid low that you couldn't fully give yourself into any connections you've had since then. It produced kind of like a low-lying, abiding mistrust. And that mistrust is like, I'll trust you, but I'll give you all this, but is just like a little side, a little, something like that. But the reason I know it's false anxiety is the clump of cards that they came out like that. I have two decks mixed together. So it was these three cards. It was Deep Knowing, the Temple Path, and the Angel of Love. Okay? Because really deep down inside, either like you knew early on that wasn't right for you, you knew maybe it was a friend that had already backstabbed other friends, whatever it was, or you knew that you had that personal habit yourself. Again, we've got two groups, and we're not getting down the judgment card. It kind of lingered around in some of the shuffles, but it never came out. So I'm aware that there's some of that. I'll just say it flat out. I'm not going to be sweet. The busyness of the mind. And busyness is different than business, okay? And we'll get to the business stuff in a few minutes because that's more in the middle world. But it's really that you do know. And you did trust yourself. You just simply didn't listen when you picked up on some things. On whichever side of the coin you're on, it's still a matter of growing and developing. We all have to. And really, it's just like a seesaw. One side isn't good, one side isn't bad. What is, quote, good or bad is not learning from things, not growing from things, and not moving on, or growing and moving on but not fully growing and moving on, right? Okay, it's like bringing the debris, like coming out of the bathroom with toilet paper still in your shoe. Who's going to do that? No. Okay, so don't do that here. Give yourself permission to clean up your life. It's just a little strand. Throw that thing off, and then begin to get forward with things. Shed this false anxiety, okay, this stewing and brewing, like your minds are kind of like, I see them like needles, kind of like knitting needles, and almost like a machine. It's so precise. It could, and before you know it, you just have strands of sweater coming on out. But that's not necessary. You don't have to overwork your mind on this. You already know. We have the deep knowing, and it's on all three levels of the mind. It's in your conscious, your subconscious, and your unconscious. And that's great because they're all on the same page in your mind, okay? And that's part of the temple path. It's like follow the yellow brick road. That's been showing up a bit. It's that we have this magical world coming, and it's just permission to trust yourself and begin to move on. Begin to go in the direction that is speaking clearly to you, okay? It's kind of like it's sitting on a page. And again, we'll get to that. But over here is the angel of love. And we know self-love, that whole thing. But there's more to it than that. It's about a mind of love. It's about that, if y'all are the perpetual virgins, it's about that, it's that, well, really, that virgin mind is like untarnished. It doesn't have the smudge, the smear. It can really stand fresh and new in the face of any opportunity and give it the best chance to go forward if it's for you. Okay, and that's why we want to kind of calm and quiet the mind. Is I see time coming up for you guys specifically, and I know part of the calling of the Virgo here is to really come alongside and help others with your perspective, with your perception, with some of your intuition and instincts. And you have a lot of, like, some have gut instincts, but you have more of a mental instinct kind of going on. But it's like the encouragement here is to kind of quiet that down, because there's a message. It's really about two. But, I mean, for y'all, that's one. Y'all got funny math, but it's beautiful math. 2 = 1. And really deal with that. It just take a clear look, make the clear decision, and stick with it. Because what I keep seeing confirmed in all these is, Give yourself permission. Quit squirreling around with indecision. Okay, so we're rolling on to a little bit more. Basically, Queen Bee, right? Look how high above she is here. It's like a layer cake, like a wedding cake. A wedding cake is taken series and series and series of events in life and strung together in ways that we couldn't even kind of concoct or fathom that end up at a final result in a sense of like the world, that kind of closure, right? A closing of a chapter. And that's what we're actually doing is we're closing this chapter of the lower world, because what I'm here to tell you is where you're having me check, recheck, double check, the knitting machine of the mind is, even though they look different, the message is the same. And it's not even just puzzle pieces. It is like just like sentences, and they're all saying the same thing, just in almost different conjugations, okay? So, anyways, you know what you want. It's a sweet life. It's giving yourself permission. It seems kind of strange because you are here to help and come alongside others, and you're not abandoning those tasks. It's just it's time for you to have some sweet life. And that's what is happening for all of us now, because Chiron is in Aries, and it's in the house of self, and it's really having to focus on yourself, and that is a good way to love others and love the world. And that's why I mean it's not just the self-love. It's literally saying, hey, what about me? And not what about me, but really yourself is going, me, hello, and you're saying, does anybody need help? And it's like, me. And generally when you're called on in class, it's because you have something to share. And that's what's going on here, is you have something to share, but yourself, your me-ness, has something to share with your you-ness, okay? So basically, it's like, shake off the indecision. You've been sitting here brewing, stewing, and again, you see this giant, this well over these houses of the world, these whole containers, these homes, these lives, these selves, these options going on here, and you really have this vast perspective, this higher up perspective. But in a sense, it's almost like, well, is that really fair if I use it to my advantage? Because that would be selfish. And how would that turn out? And I'm just saying, hey, again, over here in the upper world, you know, and you need to make this because you're shifting, okay? So just that's the warning here. So just move past your indecision. Also, another card came out. It's a stalemate. If you look right here, it's stop playing games. Okay, it was harsh, y'all. I was like, what? But I think y'all like the clarity and no one wasting your time. Okay, because we know you're super smart. You don't like being talked down to. It makes you feel stupid, and that can like kind of crawl you like a tree. So, you know, we've got this one. It says, quit fiddling around with the indecision. You know, you already know what you want. You already know what that is. Ditch the false anxiety, and that's coming from just standing here in. We can call this a stalemate because there she is, all ready for a new, fresh perspective. But is she letting the butterfly out, or is she putting it back in? That's where y'all are caught, is in that moment of indecision and waiting. The decision will be made for you. And that's not in alignment with Chiron and Aries and where things are going. Part of the Aries energy is to be impulsive. And it's not impulsive in the sense of what we think. I like to know that kind of, you know, a horned creature, the head is harder, so the intuition comes more from the gut. Okay, because the head has to be protected. That's how they each find their place in your life. Because, you know, in the real horned creatures, in the real rams, they kind of test each other out head to head, okay? So the instinct is coming from the gut more. So where it would seem impulsive, it's really instinctive, okay? And it's very clear here, very clear. We have some confirmation cards, too, of what's going on. But so the predicament is this game is almost over, and by that, it really just means this whole cycle of life and not just a world cycle. This is something that's more planetary, it's more chart-based, it's more kind of what you agreed to do for these last seasons of life to get to this point. And I'm just here to say, hey, wakey, wakey, you're ready now. It's time. Your bus will be here soon. Your train will be here soon. Your plane will be here soon. Because, yes, there's relocation involved in this, okay? There's travel going in. You need time to really, the reason why you need to decide now is so it will not create that stress and that pressure and that flusteredness, which really makes your mind kind of get like a rattle trap. It just starts vibrating really hard, and that will exhaust you and stress you out. By now, you're aware of that. You've mastered it to some extent, but the reason why it's just like, hey, don't go there, is because this time it is about me to you. And that doesn't mean me. That means your meanness to your you-ness. It's time for you to help yourself and get on board with the plan that you've got, so that you have enough time to take the proper steps, because you're really good at seeing the order of things and laying it out and doing it in a stepwise manner. And you can do that and still have your regular life going on without squeezing yourself or pressuring yourself, and still have the opportunity to enjoy interacting with others in whatever measure that is, because of the state of our world right now, but really with a calm, collected spirit. And that's a beautiful way to enter into this new, it's not even a chapter, it's a new world. Okay, I love it. It's bold, but I'm right there with you. So my midheaven is in Virgo, and it just started activating the other day, and so I know you guys are being touched too. So you're feeling some activation in the midst of these changes, and it's actually, yes, there are the squares and all the things going on, but really it's your chart is activating, okay? And it's not just transit based. There's something deeper, which I don't need to put all the words to it now because it would distract. So let's just stay right here and just know that you've been kind of sitting in the state of a stalemate, okay? Because this is her, the red and the red, right? And here the other opponent isn't even there, and it's almost like it sort of is. It's this little kitten, and the kitten is your spirit. You're trusting your spirit, your guides, and they're there to help you. Okay, y'all are already like a spirit guide for people on the world. You're like an earth angel going along, but this is one that's coming along for you. Okay, so this is really indicating, let's wrap this up and let's get on with what you're here to do. And right now it's coming into a time of transformation, and the transformation is going from this inward world. It's been alone. You've got lots of friends, but there's been lots of self-doubt. It's like there's a separation from, because of all the stuff in your mind and the 10 million movie screens of life that are being filled up forever, perpetually between you and life. And that's kind of what you're being guided here, is if you do it in a straight shot, that stuff gets out of the way and you'll finally connect, okay? And connect on a way that you've known inside, and that you are very confident in when you come alongside to help others, and very clear on. But now it's you too, okay? It's you also. Come join the party, okay? So anyways, if you look and you study and you know chess, basically, trust me on this, this is the king, and any step that the king can take is all blocks. So it really is checkmate. It really is game over. As soon as she moves any which way, game over. And so that removes the anticipation, that removes the fear, the nervousness, when you realize any step, the game is over. So in a sense, that could be the trepidation, right? But really, it is game over. You're done with that. You're ready to go out and have a good time. You're ready to not have dried sunflowers looking for the sun. You're ready to be the sunflower out there in the sun, okay? So, and what follows that is the journey. And again, we're just going to run through this underworld because it's all saying the same thing. It's letting me know your path is very straight. There's really nothing to do. It's already all created. You've seen it all in your mind. You know what it is I would do if, and I've always dreamed if, and I would win, and this and that. So you're pretty clear. And now it's just time to after you hear this, to sift and sort through and know what your truth is inside. We're really shifting from a reality-based world to a truth-based world, because we want our truth to be our reality, not our reality to be forced to be our truth, okay? Because one leads to lightness and joyfulness, and it's not problematic. There's a difference between problems, challenges, interesting things to solve or work at or enjoy each day, and problematic. Okay, that's an energy there. That is totally different. So, but it comes down to this: you're at a space where you're either going to go forward or you're going to go backwards. It's not even a crossroads. It is linear in a sense of you're gonna be your friend or you're going to be your foe. Okay? And but that is kind of Plutonian because it can play tricks on your mind of thinking the same old thing is coming around one more time, and that's kind of what we saw here is the completion. We got this cycle going around, and you could be fooled to not realize that there's a juncture where you can get off. So don't you snooze, you lose. And so that means just pay attention. Set out this little bit of time, 10 minutes a day, even for a few days, just to tune in for your you time. It's not big, it's not extravagant, it's just to stop and quiet the mind to say, okay, me, what are you trying to tell us? What is that clarity? What do I know that I know is coming? What am I sensing? What am I clear about? Okay? But so that's just some of what was going on here. We got the standstill, and behind it I could go through all of these, which you definitely had me do. It's like follow your passion. And the neat thing is it's not a lot of work, so that's where we're calming the vata, the of the Virgo energy, okay? And we're bringing it together, and we're kind of like giving it form, all right? But it is still raw passion. You guys got passion. You got up in there. That's how you love and serve. And so anyways, they all kind of go into these other things of just revitalizing what once was. We're all kind of like returning to our birth. We're returning to our origin and giving ourselves permission to be who we always are, underlying, and to let it rise up to the surface. Okay, I think we've got the lower world conquered now. All right. And the ultimate goal that you're going for over here is the holy mountain. All right. It is that high and holy place. It is the pinnacle, the zenith. And that was the big word going, aside from nourish and nurture yourself, your gift, your partnerships, your connections, your relationships, because that's what's coming in. But it was that you had unfinished business, and that was letting go of this. It's wrapping up a few things. It's tuning into your gift, because in this, see, it's not finished yet. All right, there's a lot going on, but it's really about letting your energy return to you, gathering it into yourself some, and honing your instincts of the mind. Okay, you're very sharp in the mind to know, okay. The clarity here is to ask yourself, what is the gift that contains all your gifts? The undercurrent and kind of an energetic flow coming in all directions for you guys is that there is a gift you haven't opened yet. Okay, that goes back to here, and it's kind of cosmically, and in this gift it contains all of your gifts. All right. So anyways, but we have so just maybe when I present it, it's going to, in a sense, I'm going to correct it here so that can travel through to you guys. Part of what I am is a manifester, and that's why a lot of the energies like to come out ahead of time, is when I see where there is so I also do massage therapy and energy work, and I see where there is miscommunication, where muscles are misfiring, or certain muscles are blocked or turned off, or where there's fascial binding, and there's miscommunication going on. And I'm called to use my hands, manipulate, to move them and help them work themselves into order and restore the proper function and flow. Well, same as what I've been called to do when I work with energies and cards. It's not my opinion. It is not what I want to happen. I simply sit and listen. What I'm being told comes through to be like medicine for you guys, okay? So that being said, it's basically you need to cooperate with yourself. Get on the same page with yourself. Say that from that me to you, and not me, but yourself to yourself, right? Your meanness to your you-ness. What these things are and what this thing is. So what you can kind of see what we have happening here, right? Okay. So first came the Ace of Pentacles, followed by the Queen of Cups. Then came the Ace of Cups, followed by the Queen of Pentacles. And it's basically what they said is you have your wires crossed. All right. And this was the self-sabotage. This was that type of, and it wasn't like a big Scooby-Doo ooh-wee-oo moment. It was just like, well, how did that happen? And that's when you said, more cards. And you took me into the lower world to have me show you what you need to do. You see what you need to get on board with and on the page with. And that's when it showed me that kind of those attachments between that old love issue. Some of you when you were around 16 or so, and it's just stayed for a while. And then some of you in the past 1 to 2 years. Okay. So what it was saying here is you need to cooperate with yourself. And after this happened, it was just kind of working against yourself. It was like you have your own vote in life, like the whole world's voting or whatever, and you would almost cast your vote for the other person as opposed to yourself. And so you kind of set yourself up to be, thanks. Y'all are great wordsmiths. You guys teach me so much. To be at less of an advantage. I like how you said that. That's fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and switch these around because that was the recommendation here. The medicine here is to cooperate with yourself. And in order to do that, I'm going to turn them around and then I'm going to show them back to you guys, okay? I waited till now to do that so you could be part of this. And it's just like what I'm doing now is just like I do when I work on people in the office. Through massage, I'm aligning their tissues. Right here, I was aligning the issues. All right, so we're taking injury and we're making it back into energy. Okay, so you see how we now have it in cooperation with yourself. We have like getting the battery. You have to hook it up correctly in order for it to work, or to jump it off. You have to hook it up correctly, or you're going to have bit of an explosion. All right, so now we just have the work in its place and the love in its place. That way your mind can have calm space. You can rest and relax and genuinely enjoy your private time, your personal time, and your mind won't be working overtime thinking how it can help this person or that person or whatever else. Your life is making room for you to have personal pleasure as well. Okay. And I like it because after that, I love that y'all spice and fire is rising up. Don't you remember over here? And y'all, I know, I'm sorry this is getting kind of long, but you're worth it. All right? Listen to this in parts if you need to. But you're incredibly clear. And I love your fire. It's beautiful that you have this fire coming to warm your earth. Because remember, it's kind of like this raw primal power here, but it's really channeled in through those mental instincts that you have, which I absolutely love. You're teaching me so much about that just by showing me this. And it reiterated itself here. I love it. Like the victory is your Queen of Wands. It's like having that, okay, I've got a lot of Saggy, and I could learn a lot from this right here. Because it's saying it like this, thumbs up, you guys. You have this tempered fire, as opposed to like the dragon who can blast it out, and lightning that strikes and it moves like that. Yours is like, the lighter. It's contained within, and when you activate and you actuate, there it is. And when you're done, you're done. You set up the ring and you put, or the, I have one, fire pit, and it's a container and it's put in there, and you know how much wood to put for how long you want it to burn. It's very conscious living. I'm clapping for you guys. That's fantastic. I love it. And okay, I'm loving this. God, y'all are so smart. So I'm seeing how all this is tying together because I had taken overview to get the flow of what you were telling me. And to share this with you guys and to be in this together, okay? Because that's what joy to the world is all about. Not joy to the world. I mean, really, joy to the world. It's us being on the same page of everybody's happiness, having that same river of life that we're enjoying together. Okay? So remember, you are the star. I love that you contain it. It's that tempered fire. It's that warming passion. It's baking. I don't know who that's for. That's sweet. I love that. dabble in a little bit of baking, some of you guys. You know who I'm talking to because I see you. It's it's a beautiful way for you to show love. And I see you almost kind of making these cute little handmade or hand stamped or handcrafted little cards. They may even be like scalloped at the edge or whatever else in the little punch hole in the raffia, and it's tied around. It's just it's like a concise way to put all the gift with many gifts. It's that. It's all your attention to detail in these little bite-sized gifts of love. Wow. Fantastic. I love that. I do have hopes of eventually providing bite-sized versions of these, but right now we got a bit of big energy, and we'll get there, right? You guys are teaching me how to do that. Thank you. But so let's go from there in this victory look, the winged feet. It's going to be easy when you make this decision and think, because there's something you're being called to do that you need some winged shoes, all right? But I love it because it's almost like going to the beat of his own drum. You know, like he's got the big mallets to play the drum going on here. And I love the look on his face. Can you see it? It's wide-eyed, it's open, but it's not that busyness that, you know, makes your mind so hot and tired when you can't fall asleep at night, right? But this is more like, yes, yay, you know, here's how it's gonna go, and that really a beautiful air of celebration. Okay, and so I'm going to jump over here to the next set because out of the Gods and Titans deck, look, who do we have? Da, da, da. We've got Hermes, we've got communication, and it has to do with movement. It has to do with you have some tasks at hand, and these you've already pre-chosen. You've already put in there. You kind of know what's on these, and they're more like scrolls. It's ideas, and that alludes back to what I was saying more at the beginning. Is you have these ideas. I would do this if, and I would do this when, and you have a clarity, and you just haven't. It's almost like you've got. Excuse me. Like you've got the wood, you just haven't set it in the fire pit yet. That's all. That's all. But here, just like the winged feet, right? Look at this. What if these are all your wands, your victory right here on your back in your pack? It's yours, okay? And you're just ready to light them up. You got the reason to celebrate, dance to your own beat. Hear your own music, give yourself permission to do that. But I love it. Y'all, it's so funny. I didn't mean to intro it like that. I love it because he's nearly naked. What it means to me, woohoo, is this. Okay. Welcome to my world. I walked into that. Is the essentials, okay? Not all this other stuff, and that's a good calling because the nourishment and the gift and partnership runes, they kind of talk of that. They talk about not wearing yourself down with the non-essential, and it's not in the sense of you're in a phase of bringing more in. I see that clear shift that you're going from the lower world to the, here it's called middle world, but coming from where you are, I'm calling it the upper world, okay? I don't know where I was going with that, but it's like you hold your medicine in your own hand, okay? And getting on the page with yourself will help come along with these relationships. It'll help you, that's where I was at, in the nourishment. And how do I nourish myself? What is that like? And it's being able to take those moments for yourself that you do know is far ahead to take calculated small steps of action towards your goal while you're still living the life that you were birthed and created to live, okay? Of offering your gifts and assistance to others, offering those little tasty delights, whoever's baking them, or you know what I'm saying, it's little notes of gratitude or whatever it is. It's these things that bring together the refinement of intelligence that you guys have. All right, but so again, just the essentials. Just the essentials here. You see, it's not going off to battle because there isn't all the armor. There's no breastplate. There's none of that sort of thing. But here, when you look at the hand, that's on this helmet where the wings also are too, that's kind of where it stepped in to let me know we've got to calm that mind down. It's almost like, let's take this hat off for a little while, because as we see here and as we know often about communication in Hermes, it's not about getting the words all aligned properly. This is a bit more of a time for the action, the fire, right? Because these actually did come out together. These are where you are on board with yourself, and as we see here, you just haven't set fire to them, and that is because you're about to travel. You're about to move. You're about to find out and give yourself permission to do the ifs and the whens, because you know. And so some of you, you'll need to light a few of these to get the transition work done. Others of you, they're going to be saved because they've been waiting for your home. And this isn't about buying a home or renting a home or any of that. It's about that environment, that place, that latitude and longitude on the map where it lands, that your soul people that you're around, it keeps you in your skin. It keeps your soul form fitted. It just feels right. It brings an ease to life, a flow and emotion. And don't think of this for the next 100 years, okay? We're thinking right for now, and this doesn't mean you're going to get snatched 3 months after that, 2 weeks after that. It has a lot more longevity to it, a handful to a decent measure of years. So just set your sails with the wind, okay? But anyways, so it's that he's holding it down and almost like, protect my mind, got to keep my head about me, that whole thing. That's why this was the very first card, okay? And then out came all this other stuff, and you're like, what about this? What about that? Check this, check that, check this. And I was like, okay. And it all is saying the same thing together, and I hope this message is coming across clear for you. This is my vote for you guys to be able to get on board with yourself, and have hopefully done some of that, that mind work. Some of that confirmation that you've been seeking within yourself, okay? Because that is my goal, to be a clear channel. And for some of y'all, I don't know who is watching this, who is calling this up out of me, but I'm going to be true to my peeps. Y'all are my friends, and anyways, because somebody's like, I love that sexy tattoo up on that man. I love me a man with a sexy tattoo. I want his arm to look like that. I don't know about all this little red wrap that he's got going on, but your eyes are all up here. And insisted that I have to bring that up, because I was like, why am I seeing that? I am not going to say that. And it's like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. So whoever you are, I love you. And thanks for pushing me through there to just be colorful and to be true to us, okay? So over here with Hermes, we have with the communication, and that's the self-communication, all right? To give yourself a break. And so I checked down all levels, and I'm sharing with you the information I got to save you a little legwork, and what it'll resonate with what has been coming along. And that's why it'll be, in a sense, we can say this is closing out, but really it's opening up, because it's opening up your world, and it's opening you up to home, right? To that place where it all just feels right. Kind of like Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and they're glad you came. So over these, remember how I said the pinnacle is the holy mountain. It's that focus. It's that one thing. It is the gift that holds all of your gifts. It's like no longer this and that and this and that. It is how it all comes together. Kind of like packaging, like we talked about with the bakery stuff. But connecting Hermes and the world to the holy mountain, these guys jumped out, all right? And they came out after the wands, and the wands are on the same page, and I also knew these were on the same page, okay? The Two of Cups and the Star. And this is telling me it's a life that you love, and that's not saying, oh, you're not going to find your person, but it's also not saying it's just this or it's just that. I mean, pooh, bar none. It's like, y'all, when you're younger, and they say, oh, if a genie gives you a wish, what would you wish for? But you can only have one wish. And there would always be that kid chiming in, you can't wish for more wishes. And I'm like, back off. It is my wish, and I wish for more wishes. So that's what I say. Wish for more wishes. That's what you got going on here. And then think about the Two of Cups, the seahorse. This is devoted love. This is that beautiful union. It's like being on board with yourself. Remember how we did the medicine work over here? And we got you to cooperate with yourself. When you cooperate with yourself, life's favor, life's abundance, life's beauty, you and life come from the same place, okay? Are finally in sync with each other, okay? It's like not having to play phone tag anymore, or imagine calling a company when you need help with their product and you don't have to wait on hold and talk to a machine like a real human being gets on. It's all that. It's going, oh, I'm in a hurry today. It'd be nice to get the front parking space. Boom, there it is. It's all of it. It's people, your soul people, that the friends that are not just there for you. They get you, they feel you, and they let you feel them and get them. It all goes together. You know, if we pick the gift that holds all the gifts, I think it would look like this. I think you're the star. You're the wish and the dream come true, because what I know is when you're in our place of creation, we can call it heaven, you can call it what you want, but where we came from, you signed up for this and you knew what you wanted, how you wanted to look, and how you wanted to come in, and what it was going to produce, even through the difficulties and challenges, as well as the ease and the lightness. And I think we need to go easy on ourselves about that and allow some ease and lightness instead of just difficulty, difficulty. I need to prove that I've earned it. Really? Whoa, back up. How many people do you help or love that you say, you need to prove it, you need to earn it? No, your love wants to flow freely and unencumbered, because that is the help, that is the thing that produces, that is the sap in the tree, that is the juice pushing into the fruit, that is the sun radiating on the earth, causing life to sprout up. Okay? And that is what leads to the holy mountain. It is the pinnacle, the zenith of life. Okay? And plus, when you're on a mountain, you're closer to the stars. And for some of you, it is going to, specifically, it's creative places with mountains. Creative mountains. And so it's not necessarily just a whole area where all it is mountains and mountain ranges. It's almost like a mountain that pops up on its own in a region. And that's just a mountain sitting there. And the rest of the landscape is different. Okay, so you might understand what I'm saying now about creative mountains, because it's a holy mountain, and that is often an indicator of there aren't a lot of them around there. Okay, it's your mountain. All right, so let's jump over here. These are the Mystic Shaman Oracle, and I'm probably going to go pretty quick on them because they're just really the reiteration of everything else, but it's where the specific journey and traveling came about, and the words were specific, so I'm just not going to make much more of it. Okay, and y'all told me that you're going to cross the water. Okay, so for some of you, it's not shifting states. It is shifting states, okay? But if you're in America, in the United States, it's not necessarily going from Alabama to Arkansas or from California to New Jersey. It's crossing bodies of water, okay? And for those of you who live somewhere else around the world, I think the message, it still rings the same. There was nothing else that wasn't peer into my crystal ball, study the water droplet. It is, you are crossing the waters, okay? And it is actually to go to a different state of being, from the lower world, the underworld of the working and the problem solving, and not difficulties, but it's kind of navigating around the dark. If you can't turn on a nightlight or a flashlight or something, you have to be more tentative when you do. You have to be more calculating when you do. Your senses are at their height and their volume, right? And so I love that it just started out straightforward. You're going to cross the water, and you know exactly where it is. Okay? But that's why it takes the quiet time with yourself, because maybe you shifted or justified it from when you were little, and it should be this or it should be that. I would say just get quiet with yourself, but it's exact. It's that straight path. It's just like this card down here. Okay? It's not a lot of effort. There really isn't a lot of indecision around it. There, if there is any anxiety, it's false anxiety. Because remember what we learned is it's really is game over. You're shifting states. So yeah, anyway she moves, she's going to lose. So really she could just clear the board and go ahead and walk off and be done with it, because who is she playing but herself, her own spirit? So really, in a sense, it is a win-win situation. So let's just go ahead and put some medicine on that and call it a win-win. It isn't a lose. It's a shutting out of the game of being trapped in buildings, putting cages, limits, things like that, of just limitations. Earth limitations, human limitations, mind limitations. You get it. So anyways, just straight ahead. And that's good, because it's almost like this is a quiver too that he's got going on right here. So just load it up and go. But that's where we go back to our runes of, because you're crossing waters, you can see why it really has to do with refining of your possessions, finding what really nourishes you. And that's where we're going to use this tempered fire that you guys have. You might light a few of your wands to get yourself across the waters. It's whatever and however you need to operate, but don't be stingy. Because trust yourself, it'll be just right. That's why we have this showing up. This is your instinct, and I love this beautiful guy. You have that mental instinct. Remember how I said Chiron is in the first house. It's in there of knowing the self, and that's where it could tend to make you feel like it's kind of impulsive and maybe churn your stomach a little bit. But that's really the Aries energy. That's where their instinct comes from. But yours comes from the mind, but you will feel a bit of that movement in the gut some, but just pull it back up in your mind and do the breaths and calm your gut, okay? And remember that you got to get this off. It's capping you, and it could cause that a bit of that churning to go on. Let it breathe. All right, like the rice pot, tilt the lid, let it breathe, and then it's not going to boil over. It's not going to, tizzy up. All right? Yeah, so here the circle, the hands, it's really about the kind of the wheel turning, and the wheel to me indicates day to day. It indicates work and play, work and play, work and play, work and play. And remember, we uncrossed the lines because of this old thing that was still kind of hanging on and trying to give yourself less of the advantage. It was that it was always just going to kind of fizzle out or not go so good. But now that is turning, and we've aligned it to where work is in the work channel. It's operating on the right-hand side, and love is operating on the left-hand side, and everything's in its track, okay? But here, the wheel's turning, and you're going to your new people group, right? You're going to that new place, and it's time. It's coming up, and how do I know it's time? Because, man, bam, the hummingbird jumped out right behind it. And at the beginning, I talked about seasons, the seasonal, and it depends on where you live. And it also depends on how you can go about it with your composure. That's how the counsel has come along, because they want you to really keep that composure as you do this, because it is the state in which you transfer worlds that will stay with you. Okay? So give yourself, they say little measures of time every day, first to come to the clarity and to, hang on, one's trying to walk away. Of honing in and knowing where it exactly is, and trust in your gut instinct. Okay, well, excuse me, for y'all, it's your mental instinct, and take that stepwise manner forward. But the hummingbirds have already begun to show up, and I live in Florida at the beach, and they've already started to show up here, and I know here they go up to about Thanksgiving. But if you're in more northerly or colder regions, it's a shorter window of time. So really, it's anywhere between now and Thanksgiving, and don't think oh God, it's all drawn out, that's forever, or don't think that's too soon. Just realize how swift the hummingbird is, and how even though drinking nectar, it has everything it needs to provide life to itself for the manner and the swiftness in which it moves. So either way, remember, it goes back to you win, right? So either way, it's a win-win. It's game over. Here, her spirit is black, she's the red. Either way, It's on your side. Okay? So, and the hummingbird has to do with love. It has to do with intuition again. Um, quick thinking, but not that that way. Okay? It's that clear, direct. You know, it's that what we saw over here in Hermes. You know, it's the those rods, those instincts, right? The tempered instincts, and that's the Earth Keeper, and that's really, this is when the action here, it's creating, I'd say, the medicine, the magic, the whatever you want to call it, the uprooting of where you're at. Okay, and being a gardener, you don't just jab in. You can, but depending on the quality of the plant or the tree or whatever you're dealing with or how long it's been there, you try and tether out some of the roots and work with them to get it loose and have it be harmonious and beneficial. All right, that's why you don't want to be in the vibrating state of mind that makes you kind of rush and hurry and makes you all tense. And then again, we're closing out the cycle so you can hop off. And again, any direction, just like that other card with the chess game. Any direction you go, there isn't a wrong move. There's a you move. All right? And follow your heart. Okay? Follow your heart. There's one of those drawings. There's that mountain. It's in a snow globe, and that's like your heart. It's a childhood innocence. It's that thing that children just, this is it. This is what I want. This is what I know. And they don't measure it against possibility or logistics or things like that. And it's being exalted. It's like the zenith and the pinnacle over here. It's not only the mountain is the pinnacle, it's the exaltation of it. It's like, it's, well, gosh, y'all, it's as if the star energy were to combine with these two cards. That's kind of, if these three were to go together, it would be this. And it's good for you. It's going to bring you physical health in life. It's going to bring you that peace of mind, which is really going to calm your kidneys. And it's really for those of you who have stomach issues, nervous stomach, and then the anxiety up here, which is false anxiety. It's just knowing how to move that energy and to uncap the mind so that it can move out and allow some of the passion to be for yourself. But I literally see health, like the life force, the jing returning into your kidneys. Okay, and that's a good thing. And then you've already seen these, so dare I go on? This is where you're leaving, where it has to be tentative, pensive, senses and sensory gifts and things turn up to the nth degree, which is that bit of burnout, frazzledness, which you guys can collapse into from time to time. It's always going on, wow, but that's draining on your kidneys, okay? And that's not necessary. And so you're stepping up to the middle world, and remember, I'm calling it the upper world because it's above ground. And y'all being earthy, this is where you want to be. For you, this is the sky. It is reaching for the stars because, like the star over here, you want things that are practical. You want dreams to come true. And you're like, well, let's just do this. Let's just do that. And so for you guys, it really is the middle world is the upper world. It's where you can taste, touch, feel, smell, and enjoy your efforts. All right? And the pleasure that you derive from seeing others live their dreams. All right. And so it wraps up with the counsel, and it's that inner knowing and not letting like this stoniness. This is kind of like if Mercury met Mars, met Pluto. I mean, if Mercury met the moon, met Pluto. And so it's like cold, distant, distracted. Don't get cold, distant, distracted. Instead of when you're feeling this, just remember this, okay? Because see how the colors just line right up? But we knew it's coming from a pure place in your heart. But there was a little bit of a repair because the mind just got a little overworked and it snapped off part of that instinct. And so that's the same side that this is on. It can really weaken your connection. And, all right, it's undermining yourself. Don't do that. Just realize that your mind is instinctive, okay? And ask for the signs of synchronicities, they align. But also as you go into that gift of the gifts, that is going to help you there, okay? And again, I want to know, here are these other cards, and this is, we've already seen this in one of the other decks, and it's really your prayers have been heard. Um, Answer yourself and live joyfully in the present. And this is your animal card. It's just to reiterate that stepwise process. The going ahead and taking the 10 minutes a day for the next 3 days or next period of time until you know that you know it. But it just, I'm saying 3 days and 10 minutes to let you know how seemingly insignificant that the time is and the devotion, effort that you're requiring of yourself. All right. I think that's it for now. That's the next transition and shift. Y'all were showing me, I've got a bunch of other things over here, but it probably will just blur your mind to know them all. But the way you hit the bullseye and the target is finish up that business, but also know this is the card for Cancer. And it was really indicating that, zip. It's about dreams coming true, opening your heart, that type of thing. But you were letting me know the season of Cancer. So right now, where others are stepping into Gemini, when I drive, I don't just look at the car right in front of me. If it's a small enough vehicle, I kind of look through it and past it in order to protect myself from what they may not be paying attention to. So I'm actually watching both. And I'm looking ahead a bit without getting ahead of myself. I'm very aware of my present surroundings, but I'm kind of open to an extended awareness of just what is slightly up ahead. Not overextended, just slightly extended, so that I'm tuned into a sense of what's coming, that I'm receptive, okay? That's the word here. So be receptive to the Cancer season that's coming up. Remember, the hummingbird really is a synonymous with summer, and Cancer is it kicks off summer. So heads up there. Give yourself the time, trust yourself, and I love you. Thank you for all you've taught me, all you've shared with me. Really helping me cover a lot of territory in a very concise manner, and I appreciate that about you guys. I hope it goes as well for you. I offer you my peace and my love and my joy and my perspective and my heartfelt wishes for your best. All right, here's the dreams coming true. Bye, Virgo.